Welcome to Postgame on the Pitch. My name is Jackson Phelps of Sports Radio 950 KJR. Joining me tonight on Postgame on the Pitch, Stephen Agen of Prost Soccer here in Seattle, Andrew Harvey of Sportspress Northwest, also the voice of S2 Soccer, and Mazvita, Maraire. I'm getting Maraire.
Every time I go full off space, you know his name's not that hard to pronounce. Maraire.
You know, I'm not good at names. I'm just not. But he joins us from the facts, and we appreciate all you guys joining here for Postgame on the Pitch tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We got a lot of stuff to get into, guys, and I'm really, a lot of times I'll just open it with a question. I don't want to ask a question. I want to just open with discussion. This was 93 minutes of solid defense for the Sounders. It looked like it was going to be the fourth consecutive 1-0 home win for the Seattle Sounders. And then the last touch of the game, it's a free kick from Kaká, and it goes in the back of the net. Sounders and Orlando City, 1-1 draw. How do we make sense of this, with what looked like 3 points seconds away, and you end up with just 1 point?
It's a great way to waste 93 minutes of effort. They were the dominant team the entire time. And it just, the old adage of defenders who are looking for offside calls, you play to the whistle. And, if you can't shut down a set-piece defense and give up a near-post header goal like that, you deserve to give up 2 points.
And it's Scott Sutter who puts it in the back of the net with his head. It's his first goal of the season, so it's just a freak thing here that gets the Sounders. Stephen, what should the emotions be after this one? Schmetzer said it feels like a loss. Is that pretty much as simple as that?
It should be a loss. Let me jump in. It should be a loss. Going back, they didn't put the game away. You 1-0, and I never thought Seattle really had separation in this game. They dominated the play, the typical Seattle. You dominate, you're not intentional in the third half, and that's what happens. You let teams hang around, and this is what happens.
I completely agree, Maz. Fact is, Sounders had plenty of opportunities to put this game away. They never did it, and then you get outnumbered 3-2 on the near post on a free kick, and that will happen every time. That's a real cardinal sin in defending. I'm not sure how Sounders give up such a bad lapse like that so late in the game.
And on top of the lapse there, it's the chances. In the 60th minute, you have a crazy series, guys, where Jordan makes a run, and it's a back heel by Bruin, then it looks like Dempsey's going to score, and then it looks like Ozzy's going to have a chance at it. There were chances for Seattle throughout where they couldn't get a second goal. So I guess the question is there a concern in not being able to put games away? Because even then, if you, let's just say, you win this match 1-0, that's 4 1-0 wins. That's, you aren't getting a second goal at home in these matches. Is that a concern?
I'm concerned because you're playing cutesy. You're not out here, you're not executing, and you're not getting wins. It's somewhere in this process you've got to put your foot on somebody's neck when 2-0, 3-0. All this cutesy stuff is what's killing them. I'm concerned.
Sounders look reactive in 2017 on the whole, particularly in the attack. I think tonight's a great example of it. When they get the goal at home, they tend to be too comfortable with it. That is the reactive part of it, reacting to the success. Fact is, they've scored more than once in 2 out of 8 home games, and that's just not enough. That's not Sounders soccer. That's not what they did last year to make them so successful. And I think the chances are there, and the quality is there. The team needs to put it together.
So let's dive a little bit deeper into the Sounders attack here. A couple specific questions. Andrew, one discussion that had at halftime with Maz was using Lodeiro in open space and how he was able to get so much open space today and how that benefited the Sounders attack, and frankly, how he had so much open space.
Yeah, no, from the way, especially in the first half, I'll admit I think Orlando kind of varied their approach in the second half because he was, doing so many dangerous things, and should be credited for an assist on Wilgren's goal, by the way, even though we were told that Opta wanted to remove it. The league might have taken a look at that. They ought to. I think Orlando was too focused on covering bodies as opposed to covering channels. The reason that Lodeiro was so revelatory for the Sounders when he arrived last year was he was able to find channels that even his teammates, those first couple games, go back and watch, didn't think to make those runs. Well, his teammates are used to him now. I don't think Orlando City had a good sense of what they were up against, and I think he turned in a similar performance to what he had against Orlando City last year, which is they were too focused on where Lodeiro was and not where he could send the ball.
I think that Lodeiro did a good job tonight of playing between the lines. I do think he had an above-average game, maybe compared to what you think, Andrew. But that being said, I think the biggest thing for Lodeiro tonight was having Dempsey and Morris back here for the first time at CenturyLink Field since the international break. I think that did open up space for him. And I think it would be hard for a person to deny that having Morris and Dempsey on the field would open up space for Lodeiro.
At the same time, I think he didn't get that space when he had them before the international break. I mean, yes, Jordan with the ankle and all that, but I did not see those lanes being opened up earlier.
I don't disagree with you there, but I think tonight we did see some of that.
But Andrew, I do think Morris was intentional coming inside, going out and opening space, and you got to give Lodeiro credit, because I thought that the way he was running and manning the middle and finding crevices in the Orlando defense, I'd give more credit to him than a zone versus a man-to-man matchup.
Now, in terms of how that then fed into the width, because the width is something that we talked at length about up in the press box, about how Seattle used the sides of the field in their attack lines.
Also talked about it at length. That's a very good point. The width at length.
In the width, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Are you finished with the puns? Because really what he did is that Jordan went outside, so that opened up the middle. That really did.
Do it so the camera can see you.
Jordan went outside, so that means there was a lot of space in the middle, and I think Lodeiro was coming up there, which also had Bruin able to come back a little bit. There was a lot of space in the middle because the outside backs were out.
It's been said a lot of times before, but I think it's clear enough that for Jordan Morris at this point in his career, he's a much more effective soccer player with the game in front of him.
A point from me, Nuhu Tolo. It was his first MLS regular season start. Started at left back in place of Jovan Jones. I talked to Brian Schmetzer after the match about just how beneficial it is to have a guy who his skill set, as he said, is just raw power. Is so much like Jovan Jones in the sense that they have a lot of speed. They work up that left side at fullback with a lot of pace. So encouraging to see from what we saw from Nuhu tonight. Then let's close out, guys. A lot of stuff from this match. And Radio Cascadia Live, Saturday morning, Sports Radio 950 KGR, 9 to 10 a.m. On Saturday. We'll cover more just about the emotions of this one and the ending. Probably about 9:30 if you want to tune in there on KJR. But as we transition now, looking ahead for the Sounders, this is a midweek match. And now they turn around, they have a match in what seems like the depths of hell of Portland with how hot it is there. It's supposed to be near triple digits, so that's why kickoff was moved, if you haven't heard, from 1 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. That is on Sunday. But Steven, this team now has to kind of turn around and take their emotions from what feels like a loss right into hostile territory.
Yeah, I think if you look at the May 20 home match against RSL, that Sounders win 1-0. They build on that with a win against Portland. They lose at Columbus after that. Come back for a home win against Houston. Loss at New York City FC. I think a lot of people throw out those losses on the road because of the lineup Sounders were forced to start in those games. And so when you look at it, you could build this up as really the first 4-game set of momentum building that Sounders have had this season. And they threw it away in the last minute tonight. A second goal would have been the thing that really would have cemented it. 3 good home performances, and then an even better 4th home performance going into the derby. As is, Portland, who went down a man, lost Blanco for the derby this Sunday.
Right. Along with Roy Miller.
Along with Roy Miller from yellow card accumulation.
You come in half-stepping like they're doing, they're going to get blown out in Portland. All that stats and everything else, they don't come with intentionality. Put the ball in the back of the net. It's a done deal.
But considering Portland losing at, lowly Minnesota United 3-2, losing one of their star players for Sunday, and losing a starting center back, you would think coming into this game, and particularly after Sounders take the lead, that the momentum is really theirs heading into Sunday, and that is not the case anymore.
Listen, the way I put it is this. Last year they had started to string some positive results together. Then they went down to Portland, and they got shellacked. That was Brian Schmetzer's first loss after the firing of Ziggy Schmidt. If they have a similar performance like that on the road, there are going to be a lot of guys in that dressing room who are looking over their shoulders when the transfer window opens in July.
So it seems like the question will be, what will the result from Sunday be? A level of how concerned are you, or a level of are the Sounders able to turn this what feels like a loss around down in hostile territory? Maz, appreciate you joining us here from the Facts again. Stephen Agen of Prost Soccer here in Seattle. Andrew Harvey of Sportspress Northwest, also the voice of S2. Appreciate you guys joining me here for Postgame on the Pitch. My name is Jackson Feltz of Sports Radio 950 KJR. Thank you for watching Postgame on the Pitch.